Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hi there and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Jackson Fontaine and thank you for joining me. Lloydminster Public Library has some exciting events planned in the coming weeks. The next event that the library will be hosting is a Dr. Seuss themed party on the weekend to celebrate Family Literacy Day. The day will feature many fun activities for kids that encourage reading and creativity.
This Saturday, January 25th, is Family Literacy Day, and so we will be celebrating in partnership with the Lloydminster Learning Council from 10 to 1. We will be having a Lorax party. So celebrating Dr. Seuss style, we'll be having games and crafts and snacks and activities, and families can drop in anytime between 10 and 1 this Saturday.
The Lloydminster Public Library has recently become an independent municipal library. Director Cheryl Sikora says that the change is exciting, but it will not significantly alter the library for visitors.
Change, so patrons won't notice a lot of change. They'll still have the same access to the 305 libraries that they've always had access to. The Libby app will still work in a very similar way. So it's really a behind the scenes change that gives us greater access and control over the services that we provide to our community.
The library has more exciting activities coming up in February, like ribbon skirt making class and an anti-Valentine's Day party, as well as a blind date with a book event. Students just beginning their schooling careers are at their most developmental stage, so it's imperative to the kindergarten curriculum sets them up for success. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how Winston Churchill Elementary is getting their kids prepped with hands-on learning.
Winston Churchill kindergarten students were thrilled getting to learn more about the Arctic during play-based learning.
In January, our inquiry focus is bears. So last week we were kind of exploring hibernation and why bears hibernate, and now we've shifted into polar bears, and so they're exploring Arctic animals, how bears stay warm, and yeah, they kind of get to play and experience the Arctic in our classroom.
Lloyd is well versed in knowing what their students are needing, bringing in more help for speech-related learning.
The kind of centers that get kids to start talking and talking to each other and learning language and listening to each other. It builds on those basic foundational skills that kids are needing when they come into school. It also builds on the words that they are learning, and it builds on their skills that they can share socially with each other.
The staff at Winston Churchill is proud for being able to set their students up to the best of their abilities.
The most rewarding part for our kindergartens is that we provide them a lot of opportunities to play, which makes school fun and kind of creates that positive experience for them as they're starting out their educational journey.
And that's all for this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom.
This is your classroom. Hands-on learning like you've never seen.
National Non-Smoking Week runs from January 19th to 25th. I caught up with a medical officer to find out some more information. I'm joined here today with Brent Friesen, who is a provincial medical officer. So Brent, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting me to talk about National Non-Smoking Week. It's a very important week. It's a opportunity for any people that are smoking to use as to quit. And we know that quitting smoking is the single most important thing that people can do to improve their health.
So you were kind of starting to answer my first question there, but could you just talk to me about National Non-Smoking Week?
So National Non-Smoking Week is third week of January each year. It's really a chance to highlight the impact, negative health impact that smoking has on people, both directly and indirectly. We know that smoking kills over 4,000 Albertans each year, costs the province upwards of $1 billion, both in direct health costs as well as indirect costs, and that stopping smoking is the single most important thing people can do to improve their health.
Okay, so Brent, how does National Non-Smoking Week raise awareness about the dangers of smoking?
Well, It's through discussions with people such as yourself to just increase the awareness of those supports that are there. Remind people that in Alberta there's a service that provides a number of supports to people who smoke or vape. That's albertaquits.ca. And people can go online and find a number of resources to support them, regardless of what stage of quitting they're at. So if they're starting to think about stopping, or maybe they've tried in the past, weren't successful, and want to do another attempt, then again, some tools and resources, tips that they might want to try this time around. There's also for those people who would prefer to do it in a group or with others. There's information about QuitCore, which is a group cessation program that's free, and it's offered both in person as well as virtually. So there's information on that service that is available there. And then there's our telephone quit line that is also available for people. And that quit line is 1-866-710-QUIT, or 1-866-710-7848, where people can go for help.
And what would you say is the message you guys are trying to get out? Is it as simple as just trying to get people to quit?
It is. It's really, you know, we know that sometimes it takes multiple attempts for people to stop smoking. So this is an opportunity to try again with support. It's also an opportunity for those people who have loved ones who smoke or vape to share this information with them and help them if they're wanting to try to attempt to quit. For some people, this week might be just an opportunity to reduce the amount of smoking that they are doing, and so choose a particular cigarette in terms of during the day time when you smoke. Usually smoke during the day, and maybe give that up one, and then build on that success. I think, Jackson, we've talked about a lot about smoking, and I'd also want to mention about vaping, because we know that vaping is a significant issue, particularly for young people. And so during National Non-Smoking Week, this is also a time for people to think about stopping vaping. While vaping is less harmful than smoking, it still has its own harms, particularly with the impact on lungs and that. And it's still relatively new, and we're continuing to learn about the harmful effects that are associated with vaping. So would certainly encourage people who are vaping to look at this time to practice stopping vaping, or making a plan to stop vaping.
Awesome. Well, Brent, thank you for all the helpful tips today, and thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you for your interest.
We'll have more primetime local news after the break. January is National Divorce Month. Stacy Comer finds out more in our weekly feature on separation and divorce.
Stephanie Dobson is back with us this week. Stephanie is a lawyer, mediator, and online educator with Hankin Divorce Law and Mediation offices in Edmonton and Lloydminster. Stephanie, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, as always, Stacey. Nice to see you.
It is International Divorce Month in January, and today, Stephanie, we're going to be talking about some common myths, basically kind of go through a rapid fire of them, I guess is the plan for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many myths out there, so I thought we'd go through a few of them anyway.
Yeah, and some of these that are on the list are clearly ones that seem to rise to the top when people are chatting about going through divorce and separation. So
yeah, and they're often ones that I hear about from clients. So
right, yeah. So myth number one, Stephanie, is that I need my spouse's consent to get a divorce. So tell me about that.
So yes, this is a myth. So in Canada, we have what's called no-fault divorce. So that means that you can get a divorce and you don't need your spouse's consent to file for the divorce. You can apply for divorce based on the breakdown of marriage. And usually what people will do is they'll cite reasons like 1 year of separation as the reason for the divorce. If you're applying for divorce on other grounds other than the 1 year separation, like we've talked about this in the past, like adultery or mental or physical cruelty, you still need to prove those grounds to the court, but that doesn't mean that you actually need the consent from your spouse to proceed. So you will proceed with divorce in one of two ways. It's either called contested or uncontested divorce. Uncontested means that you agree on all the terms outside of court, and contested means that you do have to go to court to get things resolved. But even in those cases, in the contested divorce, you don't actually need consent of your spouse to proceed.
Okay, and the second myth today, Stephanie, is adultery will cost me everything.
Well, adultery often does have an impact on the divorce, but it does not automatically mean that you will lose everything. I call it a myth because the legislation actually addresses many ways in which adultery does not specifically have an effect on divorce. But we'll go through a few examples here. So let's talk about spousal support. So in some cases, a spouse's adultery might significantly impact the financial situation of the other spouse. And so in that way, it might influence the amount of spousal support, but it's not guaranteed. And the outcomes, of course, are dependent on personal situations. The legislation actually specifically says that you're not going to receive less or pay more just because of the mere fact of there having been an adultery. Under property division, the division of assets and debts is typically based on fairness rather than punishment for wrongdoing. So in general, assets that are acquired during the relationship are divided equally, regardless of marital conduct. And on the parenting front, although past conduct may affect a parenting plan, of course, because we're looking at the best interest of the children, adultery alone won't stop you from having time with your children.
Okay, and the next myth is if child support isn't paid, then parenting time can be denied.
Well, this is a big fat myth. So child support and parenting time are not typically linked together. So if there's a document requiring you to send your children to the other parent for time with the children, then you're not able to deny that time just because the child support has not been paid. There's of course reasons why parenting time can be denied, things like safety of the children, but not specifically for non-payment of child support. If you're on the other side of the situation and you're being denied parenting time, that's equally not a reason to withhold the payment of child support.
And the next one is that as soon as a child turns 12, they can basically decide which parent they want to live with.
So of course, Stacey, going with the theme here, that's another myth. So under the separation and divorce legislation, kids don't get to choose where they live until they're no longer under their parents' care, which is typically the age of majority in Alberta and Saskatchewan, which is age 18. The final decision is up to the parent or ultimately to a court if the parents can't agree. But once the children get to become preteens or teenagers, they have a lot more say in where they live. So we call it a voice, not a choice. So there's ways to bring the children's voice into the discussions, whether it's hiring a psychologist, whether they're hiring lawyers for the kids. Sometimes in mediation, the kids can be directly involved.
Okay, and then the last one, and this is a big one that we talk about all the time, and it's to get a divorce, I need to go to court.
Yeah, Stacey, you could probably answer this one because we're.
I can actually, but you're the professional.
I know we're on the right track here. We do this all the time. So on a very technical level, yes, you do need to go to court to have your court stamp your divorce application to cause you to be divorced. But you don't actually have to physically step foot in the courtroom to speak with a judge directly. So in our case, when we submit court applications for the divorce, we actually file it through the online portal or send it in by mail. So we don't actually have to go into court. So all of the negotiations relating to your separation and divorce can be done outside of the courtroom, either using a lawyer or a mediator. And then that final resolution, of course, will be documented, and then you submit everything electronically to the courts.
All right, Stephanie, well, thank you so much. Good information as always, and we'll be back to chat with you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Stacey.
That's all for news. Sports is next, but first, here's a look at your closing market.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
The Lloydminster Bobcats are once again hosting a hockey school for kids from 7 to 13, as well as other events throughout the off-season. Our Thomas Wildman has more.
Today I'm joined by Nigel Dubé, the general manager of the Lloydminster Bobcats, and he is here today to talk about their upcoming spring and summer events. And so thank you so much for joining me today, Nigel.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Nigel, we'll start with talking about the Bobcats Hockey School. For those who are unaware, what is the Bobcats Hockey School and where can they go to get more information about it and possibly sign up?
Our annual hockey school runs for 2 weeks in August. Obviously for us, it's an exciting time. It kind of kicks off hockey again, and it's a fun-filled day of both learning on the ice and off the ice. We're excited for the drills and activities and games on the ice where players learn and develop those fundamental skills, and then off the ice, whether it be the dry land, we bring in guest speakers from Wayside Dental, we bring in yoga from Pure Vibe, we have the Canine Dog in town comes, lots of different experiences. So every day of hockey school is a new day. It's an exciting day. It's run by our Bobcat coaches, our Bobcat players. We also have female coaches from across town who have been with us for 3 or 4 years, some almost 5 now. And we just want to make it a great time for the youth kids and learn hockey, make new friends, and just have a lot of fun. The camp runs U7 to U13. It's an exciting 2 weeks. Anyone that's interested or has questions can go to our social media at Lloyd Bobcats on all of our platforms, or LloydminsterBobcats.ca, our website. All the information is included there on the homepage, as well as the tab for hockey school, and directs you to the link. Get signed up right away. Both weeks are over 50% full, which is exciting for us. We're very grateful for it, and price increase will happen on July 1st from the early bird too as well.
And so a little bit before the Bobcats Hockey School, you guys are going to have some spring and summer skates. Tell me a little bit about those events.
Yeah, the last two off seasons we've ran both spring and summer skates. We're going to do that again this year. We're excited about it. We have mini camps which will run in April. We also last year we brought in former pro hockey player Chad Cabana, who will be back for some weekend camps too as well this year. We have our coaching staff that will run summer skates throughout too as well. And just something that's a little bit different in town. It's not full week's worth. It's a skate or two a week from May until July. So something we've started the last 2 years. Excited to grow on, continue both the male and the female program, and have another option for people in town too as well. Yeah, just fill out the link on our social media. Again, if you go to our website, LloydminsterBobcats.ca, click on events. You'll see it underneath the development. They can fill out there. Any questions for our off-season programs can be sent to ICE at lloydminsterbobcats.ca for further questions. Some of our programs are very limited in numbers, so they are apply programs. Not saying that everyone will get in, but we try to accommodate as many as we can. It's just limited ice, limited space to keep it to what we want to keep it to and what the program's designated to. So reach out with any questions. Happy to answer them. We want to provide as many camps as we can, as many options as we can to people in the border city. So don't be afraid to shoot us a line.
And once again, you guys are hosting a specific goalie-based clinic. Tell me a little bit about that and how special of a coaching staff that you guys are going to have for it.
Last summer was the first summer that we ran it. Our goalie coach, who's been with us since 2019, Sheldon Gertson, solid goaltending. We also have Cassie McEwen in town here, who's joined our team. And we had multiple goalie coaches out last year. We plan to do the same. It's going to be August 11th through 14th. Again, very limited in numbers just because of the instruction on the ice. But we're excited to bring that back for the second year. This year we'll be adding some more guest coaches, which is always exciting when you can bring coaches back from around North America and take part in it, and help out and developing the goalies in this area too as well. So click on the link, same thing, social media or the website, sign up, limited spots. That is a first come, first serve. So get signed up right away and looking forward to year 2 of our goalie camp.
Thank you so much for all the information today, Nigel, and good luck to you and the Bobcats the rest of the season, as well in these future events coming up in the off-season.
And now let's take a look at your pets of the day. Quick look at the weather forecast here. Thursday, 70% chance of snow in the afternoon there, high of +2 and a low of -5. Friday, looking a little chilly, windy, cloudy, and colder, high of -4 there and a low of -13. Saturday, little better than Friday, cloudy, breezy in the afternoon, high -6 and a low of -8. That is all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.